psychedelic experience is an extremely old part of the smorgasbord of human experiences on this planet. In fact, the emergence of human consciousness and the emergence of an awareness of
Sup, folks? How's everyone doing? Party vibe. Omri, how you doing? Are you coming to Germany anytime soon? I mean, I hope so. I do want to organize a trip to Europe at some point. I'm not sure when, not sure how. Things have been pretty tough the last couple of months. My older dog has had to have like 2 surgeries and had some storm damage, and insurance is being super shifty at the moment. So like, it's a bit tough right now, so I can't really say, but the goal is to organize some kind of trip to Europe where I kind of hit a couple of destinations, do some like meetups, maybe some like in-person sessions, seminars and that kind of thing. That is the goal. Fortune, this is fire. Thank you. Is this Bitwig? Yes, this is Bitwig 6. Siniki, how you doing? Trippy Technology. How's everyone doing today? Trumpet Sock. Davey the Hug Monster. We do a braai. Yes, man. Oh, it's actually sad. Like just over a week ago, we had a storm here and a tree fell over and destroyed my braai place. So just like seeing the word braai is like, ugh. Anyway, these things happen. Play event. Yeah, I mean, that's the idea, is like to organize like a trip where I hit a few destinations, do a couple of seminars, hopefully play a couple of events. That whole vibe. Today, let's see what's on the agenda. Oh yeah, so there's actually a track we've been working on for a couple of streams, a couple of the past streams we've been putting together. I found a pretty cool sample, even though it may or may not be pretty overused. And yeah, man, insurance always shifty. It sucks, dude. Anyway, found a cool vocal, added it here, and then I started chopping it up and came up with this sort of drop thing, which I think is really, really cool. It's so I basically just took the sample used the Stretch HD in Bitwig, which is kind of similar, I think, to Ableton's Warp Mode, and just stretched it out a bunch and then ran it through. Actually got the channels here. So I first tried it running it just through like an actual trance gate, and the issue with that is that like it didn't always like hit the consonants of the beat nicely. So I was like, no, we actually have to chop it up. So what I did is like took the sample, ran it through a bit crush and a thing called Bitspeak by Sonic Charge, I think it is. So I actually just still run the demo version of this. I haven't even bought the full thing. Can you believe it? But I don't use it that much. Like sometimes it just adds this nice sort of like digital sound to a vocal recording, and you can pitch it to like the specific pitch of the track. So I just ran the vocal through that, and so because it's like still in the trial version, what happens is the audio cuts out every now and then. So I just took out. I ran it through that, the audio chopped in and out, and I just cut out the good parts, right? And then just rearranged them on the beat like that. I feel terrible because, like, I mean, I totally should just buy the plugin, but like, I don't use it that much. Sometimes it's just like, I just want that sound, so it does it. And then came up with this, which I then just ran, but a clipper, a bit more bit crush, and a filter.
Experience, 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 experience,
Oh, so sneaky. It's not quite a trance gate, so it's kind of like it's almost like an LFO on the signal. I'll actually show you. It's this one. Unmute, enable.
The psychedelic experience, the psychedelic experience, the psychedelic experience, the psychedelic experience.
Oh yeah, also does like a weird pitch shift.
Experience, the psychedelic experience, the psychedelic experience, the psychedelic experience.
So I mean, you could even use the trial effect as like a drop because the pitch shifts around like that, but you can modulate the pitch. This parameter here, you can just modulate that. So I mean, if you do use the plugin like more than just slapping it on every once in a blue moon, then it's definitely worth paying for it, right? So there's this one sound here I actually want to play with a little bit. It's like this pluck that repeats. I feel like it maybe repeats a little bit too often. So what I want to do is like cut out singular elements, maybe reverse some, process some, and kind of do something slightly unique for every time. Maybe not every time we hear the sound, but something unique over the overall track, right? So I think what we should do here, the note, today we are working, I usually make the project name, but it's too long. We could just look here, +7 is G. I also have a little sticky note here. Yeah, the track is G, 140 G. Yeah, with these things, I like to put them in a group. I feel like when you have a lot of the same sounds over the course of the project, it's a good idea to kind of keep those things in a group, because then what often happens is if you want to apply like a mixing style EQ, mystical melody, thank you. I feel like the sound also kind of leans into that thing. I feel like it's a combination a little bit of the sound with the processing and the lead as well, because it's a pretty basic minor lick. So it's like it is transposed, so it wouldn't actually be these exact notes, but it's the 5th, 6th, the root, the 2nd, and the 3rd. So it just goes like boop, up and then down again. But yeah, say for example we wanted to do some kind of like mixing EQ or something like processing to all of the sounds that are the same. It'd be easier to just do it to the group than individual tracks. And I feel like it's also, you know, sometimes you'll do a thing where you just have one little chop of a sound, and then using that space on the timeline can also create a more tedious workflow. You have to kind of scroll up and down through these millions of singular chops that just take up a single channel or something like that, you know? I do the same transpose trick that you do, really simplifies the process. Absolutely. I feel like also if you have smaller MIDI controllers, so like this is just 3 octaves and it goes from C to C. If you write in C, you have access to the full range, where if we had to write a song in G, say shift it up like this, we now don't have access to the top 3 notes here, right? So by just sticking to that and transposing it in the DAW, you kind of give yourself access to more notes over the scale if you have a smaller keyboard. And it's also, I just feel like it's easier to write in one root note and then choose a particular scale and then fit it into whatever track you're working in, right? But yeah, it's weird. It's something I actually picked up from using kind of older gear, like with the Roland SH101 and 303. That is how you write the sequences there. You do it by the root, and then you use the key transpose. And so it's just a process that I picked up, like it came with me from the old days, if you know what I mean. So here what I want to do is actually just bounce out several variations, because there's kind of a little bit of randomness and stuff on the sound. Each one sounds slightly different. You can actually see the waveforms actually do look different as well. So let's just bounce out a couple of variations there. And so, like I said, instead of just repeating the same thing kind of over and over again, we can maybe play around a little bit with it, like reverse one of them and then try kind of time it to where it was. So let's just mute these two for now so we can hear what we did here. Set this to 0. I was wondering, if you produce with stuff on your master or your mix bus? So it's actually a difficult question. I do, but generally I recommend not doing it unless you really know what's going on. So what I've noticed a lot of the time, people will kind of put something on there and just crank it to sound louder, whereas I will A/B this on and off, and you'll notice that there isn't going to be a massive loudness difference. It's kind of just a little bit of sheen. I'll talk through the rack, but it's kind of just a little bit of limiting, some clipping, a little bit of EQ and that kind of thing. The problem I find when using too much stuff on the master bus and then like boosting and reducing and boosting and reducing and doing all sorts of like compression and that kind of thing is that it skews how you hear the track. And then if there's an adjustment that you have to go do in the mix, it'll be off compared to like what you're hearing based on all the stuff that you've put onto the mix or master channel, right? So I generally recommend not doing it unless you have like a really good listening setup, really good headphones, or you really, really know what you're doing. But then the golden rule is generally try not to boost the volume there, right? Because it doesn't buy you anything. Boosting the volume there it actually just reduces the amount of quality that you could have in the overall track. So a lot of the time with newer producers, so I've got this inner circle thing where I do feedbacks and that kind of thing, and most often the issue that I kind of pick up with newer producers is they have a lot of stuff on the mix and master bus, and it kind of does a lot of compression and does like some distortion because then it boosts the volume quite loud, and the amount of layers that we have to peel back and try to figure out what's going on till we can actually dive into like the arrangement and the sound design and those kinds of things, it's a lot of work. So usually I recommend just taking it all off and starting from the ground up, if you know what I mean. But it depends on you and your workflow and your expertise, I guess. But yeah, let me give you an A/B here. You see, it's so subtle, but like I feel like it just rounds off the bottom end a little bit. Things kind of feel a bit more spacious and just a bit more contained, but it's almost the same. That's the idea. You know, the idea is you don't want to change the sound here. You want to change the sound on the actual channel, because the more you're changing the sound here, the more you're affecting everything. So like, say for example, we're like, oh, there's too much mid-range, and you adjust it here on the master, it's going to remove mid-range from everything else in the track, the kick, the bass, and some of the more the elements that you actually need, right? 5 a.m. Oh wow, where are you? It is almost midday. It's 11 a.m. here in South Africa. So yeah, it's just a basic compressor here. This, I've set it up sidechain bandpass to the lows. So what this does is it basically listens to just kind of like the lowest fundamental area and adjusts the rest of the compression to that. And I feel like that's what's doing that like rounded low end that you kind of hear a little bit there. Then I often have tools in between each thing in the chain. So tool here just to adjust volume if I need, and then some slight EQ here, which I adjust depending on the track. A little bit of soothe on a very specific area, the 250 hertz range, just 500 hertz range, because I feel like this is often gets like quite boxy. And then again, some tool that's like reduce the volume a little bit. Then I run it into Limitless, which is DMG audio limiter. Pretty crazy thing, that one. I won't get into that too much because it's super complex. But it's not really doing much. Like I said, all these things are just doing ever so slight amounts of stuff. And then K-Clip, which just does like the final little bit of sealing at the end, just to make sure that things aren't like getting too loud. And then Julian, just to see like the actual, like how loud we are, LUFS, RMS, actual peak, that kind of thing. And so this is helpful because this is before I reduce like the overall volume to gain match. So kind of doing this allows me to see how loud the actual master is going to be before committing to the master. Does that make sense? So like sometimes I'll just mix this down and produce like that. Or when I'm done with the track, I will mix this down and then render it out, and then spend a bit more time going to each element of like the master and that kind of thing. Often a similar chain, but this just gives me an idea of like how loud it would be if I did master it, or what it would sound like as a mastered thing. But this wouldn't be the thing I would render out. I would always turn this off first, right? Use the chain of already finished track as a reference and then tweak. What I would do is actually just use the spectrum rather than the processing, because the processing would change depending on what's going into it. Do you know what I mean? So the tools that you might use might be the same, but what you would do would be kind of different for each track, depending on like what frequencies are too loud at certain times in the track, because every piece of audio is going to be different, right? Where in South Africa from? Cape Town. The good part. No, I'm joking. I'm kidding. Then maybe we can use this one reversed like into the drop. Let's see how that works. Have you worked with Android Spirit from South Africa? I love the track Kiffin with Abomination. Correct me if I'm wrong, Android Spirit is Tickets and Daxinemerti. I think they both are South African. I think Daxinemerti's lived in Germany for much longer, but I think Tickets also moved to Germany quite a while ago. So they're both actually in Europe, so I haven't worked with them in person. But I've chatted to both of them like online and stuff. Damage, have I met Damage? No, not in person, but I've seen him perform a lot. Like when I was kind of coming up, he was one of the main acts at the time. So I've seen him perform a lot, and it was like one of my favorites sort of getting into Psytrance. It was Damage, Scorb, 3D Visions, guys, Absalom, CPU. Yeah, good old days. Here I want to reverse this into the drop. I think while we're at it, we might as well commit this to audio as well. Just because there is like some randomness going on in there. So it's always good to kind of commit it and then see, like, is it good? Yes. And stick with it, because then when you do get to the mix and that kind of thing, it's not going to change over time, you know? Oh, sorry about that. Listening from my monitors, indeed. You're probably hearing my foot stomping as well. And heavy breathing. Sorry about that. Here, let's do a couple of other variations here. What we can do is we can actually drag these here just so that we've got clips which we can drag samples from. And then here we can maybe create like some other variations. We can maybe put some plugins on this channel, see what we can come up with.
psychedelic experience is an extremely old part of the smorgasbord of human experiences on this planet. In fact, the emergence of human consciousness and the emergence of an awareness of the psychedelic experience is an extremely old part of the smorgasbord of human experiences on this planet. In fact, the emergence of human
I think here I want this this lead to start a little bit higher. It kind of like comes in quite deep with a lot of lower frequencies at the drop. I think kind of feels like it's maybe taking away a bit of energy from the drop. I think there we could have some kind of like splash, some kind of splashy sound. Let's do something simple. Oops, wrong one. What have I done there now? Let's maybe just do like a noise with a filter. Yes, good call on the pan. Ping pong on the vocal. I think there already is one. It's crazy how something as powerful as just like noise, filter, and just the correct modulation. Chef's kiss.
Experience.
find like the problem with these though is like what tends to happen when I'm adding these is like it sounds so cool, and then the rest of the track is like, I just need to add like more of these, so it ends up the whole track just as swishes and swishes. Because like the moment it like drops into something which feels like it's kind of missing that top end a little bit. I guess that's just down to like mixing it to the correct volume in the track. Tune the vocal voice a bit. How do you mean? I think it's already at the pitch of the root note. I broke something. That was weird. I was like pressing Control Shift and then something just froze. I think it was a sticky keys thing with Windows.
Experience. 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 Experience.
Okay, I think here the transition could be kind of more pronounced. So, for example, it kind of sounds similar to this transition, but then something totally new comes in here. So with these kinds of things, it's often helpful to do some kind of like filter of the bass line or something a little bit more dramatic than this kind of transition that we did here, because that then kind of announces that some kind of bigger arrangement change is about to happen. I realize now I had the Serum 2. I mistakenly triggered it earlier, but now I remembered it was actually something that I put in. I was working on it the other day. Actually sounds pretty cool. The lower notes in there I don't think are that cool though, so maybe we can see what's causing that. Some kind of modulation of the velocity, if I remember correctly. No, it wasn't the velocity. I think it was the timbre. I'm using these MPE parameters to kind of like to control the different parameters in the synth, the filter and that kind of thing. Oh, it's the spread. So each time it generates a new one. With these kinds of things, I do like to have some kind of sequence, whether it's random or not, just so that it's not playing like on every 16th note. So here we can use like some kind of chance, maybe put a bit of delay on here. Ping pong. Yes. Although for this particular section, there might already be a bit too much going on, so maybe we can use this as like a variation of the main section. So we have like a melodic, and then it switches into more rhythmic. I think that could work, because it feels like there's quite a lot of stuff happening here already, you know. Let's do this. Holy, that works well. Okay, I'm going to take a quick break and grab another cup of coffee, refill, run to the bathroom, do all the things. Let me find some loop points here. Let's select this. Wait, that was the wrong thing. Yes. Cool. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Maybe 3. Depending on how long the coffee machine takes to warm up. Okay, I'll see you folks shortly.
psychedelic experience is an extremely old part of the smorgasbord of human experiences on this planet. In fact, the emergence of human consciousness and the emergence of an awareness of these biodynamic outputs psychedelic experience, 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 psychedelic
What's up, Sandline? How's it going? You have not missed much. An hour or so of blabbering. I forgot to mention, folks, so I do my monthly seminars on Patreon. Basically a live stream, but with like a much more focused sort of topic in mind. Last month we went over kind of like most of the groundwork for mixing concepts, and then this month we will be doing mixing workflow stuff. So I'll be going through like how I would finish off the mix of a track. Let's decay on the sequence. Yeah, I think with this sequencer we're gonna like sort of use it as a transition into like another breakdown. Do we have too many breakdowns in the track? I mean, there's like 1 minute there, a minute of intro. We could do with a small reset and a kind of final drop, I think, still. So I want to sort of do some automation here on the lead, still running into that. Anyway, so the monthly seminars happen last Wednesday of every month on Patreon. And yeah, this month we'll be going through mixing workflows. I'm also going to be opening it up to my Patreons to do more, to offer topics. So like if there's specific stuff that you're interested in, then we can like do specific seminars on that kind of stuff. So it'll be like a community voted topic after the first couple. Anyway. Let's see here. I did also want to do like some kind of filter breakdown into this change up here. Let's work on that first, because that was like the first thing that I want, like that came up. Oh, I should have also mentioned it's not like the entire Patreon. It's just for $20 and up tiers. So the $5 will get you all the presets. So like I make presets in videos. So you get a bunch like serum, vital, faceplant, a bunch of presets for the $5 one. And then the monthly seminars are $20, but then that gives you access to all of the seminars before that as well, right? And it does fluctuate with the exchange rate when you're paying in South African rands, unfortunately. But to be honest, the rand is getting more powerful to the dollar, so that at the moment it's a good thing. The preset bundles are on my store, so like you can buy those like as products. So I do have those as well. The Patreons do get a discount on everything that's on the store. So like the full products and stuff that are on the store, you do get discounts from. But like those kinds of Citron starter packs, that kind of stuff is all on my store. So I've got like sample packs, stuff for serum, vital, all that kind of thing, presets. Bits Bizarre, any news on the game soundtrack competition? Good call, actually. I haven't actually seen them announce yet, but I didn't actually check it up, to be honest. I was just doing it for the fun of it. I was just doing it for the fun of it and like for practice. So I don't. If I were to win the stuff, I'd probably then do a competition of my own for like in my Discord and give it away, to be honest. But yeah. It'd be cool, obviously, to win. I mean, I'd be super honored, but yeah, that wasn't like the goal. It was just for fun. Bitwig templates, I feel like it's something that kind of changes so often, and there's so many different plugins that come out and that I use. So the templates I don't really sell as bundles, but then often, like if, for example, like with my masterclass, which is like mainly focused on vital stuff, then I have a template that comes with that, with a lot of vital presets already in there. And then I did a faceplant bundle a while ago, which was like a preset pack with faceplant that came kind of with the starting template for Bitwig using a bunch of those presets. But it's the kind of thing that's like there's so many different plugins involved that like it's very hard. At least I use a lot of third-party plugins, so it's very hard to supply DAW templates. What effects are on the leads at the moment? Probably, I guess the main thing would just be ping pong delay. That's, I guess, the thing that you're hearing the most, because it's on pretty much everything has like a bit of ping pong delay. What sounds are we hearing right now? Yeah, it's this pluck, which has ping pong. It's the diva lead, which just has like some reverb and some filter. Some FM stabs. Reverb. I think that's a ping pong delay on there. The filter, ping pong delay. Nothing complex, you know. I think it's just like about the combination of these more basic effects that kind of make things sound spacey and psychedelic, right? You can obviously use more complex effects and stuff like Infiltrator, but it's often a lot of these things combined, you know, like filters and delays and reverbs all in one. Hey, what's up, Game Boy Z? Random question: how do you keep your posture so immaculate? I learned the hard way. Let's just put it that way. So, like, I have back issues, so I'm forced to do it. It does help though, is like raising your screens. So, for example, like just above the point where it's kind of comfortable. So hunching, you don't get a good look at the screen, and so you're kind of always like, okay, this is better. Do you know what I mean? So raising the screen is just about the best thing that you can do. Also positioning your monitors to where you are sitting upright, so you're kind of incentivized subconsciously to do it as well. Yeah, that's pretty sick, going up like that. So like the kind of like metal lead progression, but then going up and finishing on that kind of sounds pretty cool. I have not actually tried Ultra yet, even though I've said several times that I'm going to. I have not. Just been so many other things on my radar, like another wavetable synth. Even though like it does seem pretty cool, another wavetable synth isn't really one of them at the moment. I feel like there needs to be some kind of progression, and then this is like the second run of it. Hey, Buzz, sorry, how you doing? Like the second progression, so maybe one that goes down, and then this one that goes up. Also, I'm actually not too convinced by the timing of this. Let's maybe just go back a second here.
Experience.
Hey, Xdizzle, thank you, man. Appreciate that. Can't wait to hear the full track. Thank you, dude. Are there any good or unique chorus plugins that you recommend? To be honest, I don't use chorus that much. I feel like out of like those modulation effects, it's kind of the least useful to me personally. It's very good for situations where like you record something and you want to give it more voices, but often I do that kind of in the synthesis stage. So most of the time the choruses that I'm using are like in the synth itself. So to be honest, there aren't really many. I don't think I've got any third-party chorus stuff on my system, except like the Arturia bundle. I've got like the Arturia bundle, but like I never find myself using that stuff, to be honest. I obviously don't do vocal recordings, and that's I think where I think a chorus plugin is probably the most useful. Haze, yeah, I guess that's chorusy, but to me it's kind of more sound design stuff that I'm more interested in than those kind of like mix things. But yeah, Beam Haze is a good shout out, actually. Good shout. That's probably the one that I do have. This was one of their free ones, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but Haze was one of their free ones. But yeah, this is kind of a lot more than a chorus because it's got all these kind of disperser type sounds that you can create with it. Do I have an example here I can put it on? Again, I did it. Sorry, monitors only. I'm sorry. But yeah, I agree. Being it's more kind of like all of those modulation effects kind of in one. My favorite chorus out of all the VST synth plugins and stuff, my favorite sounding chorus is the Vital chorus. So like if we could get that like outside, that would probably be my favorite one. But just because it sounds so nice when you distort it. So you put a distortion afterwards, it just sounds so good. It's more like a sound designy tool. I use it more in the sound design context than mixing and that kind of thing. But yeah, Vital, probably my favorite sounding chorus in a synth. Maybe we can put some big cinematic drums in this part. Some epic one-shot drums. What is accumulation syndrome? I'm sure I'm familiar with the concept. I don't understand. Like, I've never seen it referred to as that way. What is it? What is that? If you don't mind me asking. Okay, maybe that's too epic. hey, Fallen Leaf, more plugins, more plugins, more plugins. Yeah, I mean, I think Fallen Leaf actually nailed it there. You kind of have to go through it to figure it out, the stuff that works for you. So, I mean, like, every day there's new plugins coming out, and sometimes some of those will be super useful for your workflow, some of them maybe not. And there's only so much that like folks like myself can show you in a video until just like putting in the elbow grease and figuring it out, seeing what works for you, will tell you whether it's the thing that's going to stick or not. So I think it's one of those things where it's not even just like plugins. I think with any creative endeavor, there's always the sense of like accumulation, you know, whether it's if you're into photography, I feel sorry for you, right? Then it's like the new lens and the new this, and it's like until you figure out which one it is that's perfect for you, it's going to be a sort of expensive journey. Do you know what I mean? It's part of being creative because you find your voice that way, you know, kind of similar to gear as well, maybe less so for electronic production, but if you think about it in the sense of like a guitar player, you know, you may buy 3 or 4 guitars until you settle on the one that's perfect for you. That's wishful thinking, because I know it's probably like 10, 20 for your average guitar player, but there's this journey, and you don't really know what you're looking for until it clicks. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, the voice in your head can be really, really dangerous. And then there's often the downfall of like option paralysis. Once you have acquired all of these things, it's like, now what do I sit down and make music with? I guess at that point, it's a good thing to start making stuff like, let me give you a quick example. So here, I've got these sort of categories of plugins in my Bitwig browser. And here it's like most of the reverbs that I like are kind of all together. And when I feel like I've kind of exhausted one, I'll remove it from the list or something like that. But I have a much smaller list. It makes it much easier to kind of go through and be like, okay, this is what might work for this occasion or might work for this occasion. So I've kind of like categorized things this way, like my favorite delays, favorite reverbs, multi-effects, distortions, a lot of them, filters, and then what I call color box. And so like this is like stuff that you just kind of put on and sounds like a particular sound, if you know what I mean. Like Dist Tube Culture by Arturia, you know, those kind of remakes of things, those kind of classic things, that's all together in that category. So that tends to take away the option paralysis as well, because you, instead of thinking now like, oh, what plugin do I use out of these 100? It's like, boom, there we go. Here's 5, choose one, you know. And it's also for specific tasks. So I kind of know what I'm looking for, go in there and find it. Synths becomes a little bit more difficult because like I get sent new synths like almost every week. And so my folder of synths is absolutely massive. But like the ones that I actually end up using are pretty much like in my day-to-day workflow, pretty much Serum, Vital, Phase Plant, maybe a bit of Diva, maybe a bit of Pigments here and there. But like I don't bother making the folders of that stuff just because there's so many. But stuff like reverbs and delays and those things, like, yeah, I would make folders of your favorite ones because that tends to reduce the amount of like overall clutter in your mind. And then once every year or so, just delete the stuff that you don't use. And you don't lose it nowadays, especially because you can kind of just log in and download it whenever you need. But I would definitely go through at least once a year, once every 2 years or so, and then just kind of clear out clutter, delete the plugins you don't use, stuff that doesn't make it into those kind of quick folders. Just delete it. You can always go get it when you do feel like you need it. 9 times out of 10, it'll be like 5-6 years until you're like, wait, there's this one obscure thing that did this particular thing, and then you go looking for it. In fact, it happened to me recently, where I was like, there's this one thing, I can't even remember what the plugin was called, but it was an orchestral plugin that was several gigs big. And so I hadn't used it, I think, in 4 or 5 years or so. And that would have just been sitting there taking up several gigs of space on my hard drive, right? For nothing, for several years. So then I was like, okay, let me grab this, download it again, use it a bit, and then I'll probably end up deleting it in a couple of months. Have you ever thought about doing a struggle sesh using only free open source software like Ardor? Geon Kick or Vital? Just Linux enthusiast. I got good news for you, bro. Bitwig works on Linux, doesn't it? So Ardor. Oh wait, it's not free open source. Okay. I see there. The next sentence. I actually don't use Linux. It's weird. A lot of people ask me, but it's because I don't have my Windows thing here at the bottom. It's on my other screen. But a lot of people assume I'm on Linux. I do use it for other things, not on this PC, but not often, not enough to actually have like a music production workflow in Linux, to be honest. But yeah, I should do a stream where it's kind of like confine myself to particular things, because then that is a very good answer to the other topic we were just talking about option paralysis, having too many options. If you're so good at one synth or one effect, like you've sort of got your workflow down to a T, that's your answer. Then you'll just go for that one, right? And so like sticking to just something like Vital or Phase Plant or Serum and just learning how to make every sound that you would usually make on other stuff, but in that one, that option paralysis kind of stuff kind of fades away, because it's just like, oh, this is the one that I'm quickest with. I'm most fluent with this one, and so I'll just use this one. I don't know. I wouldn't say Linux is not good for music. I mean, what makes it not good? It's most of the software that we have available. Okay, I wouldn't say most, but a lot of the main ones that I use are also available on Linux, like Vital, Bitwig. Okay, folks, I want to go grab a cup of tea real quick, and a refill of water, and then I will be back shortly. So let me loop what we have here, and I will be back in 2 minutes. See you folks shortly. Don't go anywhere.
psychedelic experience is an extremely old part of the smorgasbord of human experiences on this planet. In fact, the emergence of human consciousness and the emergence of an awareness of these biodynamic outputs psychedelic experience, 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 psychedelic experience.
Okay, let's see. Do you have a systematic approach to recreating a sound which ever since was mostly by feel because you're good at sound design? Like if you hear a cool lead or something, or sound effects somewhere else. I guess the main thing is just reference with as many different types of analysis as you can. Look at the waveform, look at the spectrum. But it's also about like getting more comfortable, like hearing a sound and kind of having an idea of what perhaps, what technique is what was used to create that sound. So like that's knowing what FM is, knowing what unison is. Hey, Safist, how's it going? knowing those kind of things, like what types of filters make what types of sounds, because then often you hear something and it's like, okay, you can kind of guess what it is. Just trying to think of how we can make a reference. Obviously don't want to listen to some other track, because that's going to get me issues. And I've just come out of the algorithm hell that I've been in for the past month because of another copyright strike on a previous stream where everything was entirely from scratch. So maybe I can pull up a sample from like a sample pack, and then we can use that as like a reference. Okay, I think this is a good example. Oops, I've put it on the wrong channel. So usually what I'll do is I'll kind of line up the tempo. So let's just say stretch HD. It says here it's 142. 142. And so then we can actually chop out just that piece, right? Without the reverbs and that kind of stuff. So you can look at the waveform and also determine sort of what's going on. It can also help to just look at the waveform and try to understand like what's happening there. So this looks like some kind of FM. The reason I'm saying that is because it's kind of got these, what looks like a repeating wobbly pattern. So that's just my guess from like what I've seen FM stuff, but it also kind of sounds a little bit FM-y. So I guess the quick hack would be you can take it and load it up as a wavetable. Try use some kind of audio extraction tool to remove the rest of the stem and load it up as a wavetable. But often you don't want to recreate like the exact sound, just kind of getting in the ballpark, getting a sort of close frequency range and the same processing, that gets you most of the way there, right? Let's have a look at the spectrum. So we can also see like what sort of frequency range it occupies mainly. FM tends to sound quite metallic, although so does like heavy distortion. So sometimes it can be confusing between like whether it's maybe a basic shape with like loads and loads of distortion or whether it's FM. I think this is FM with some distortion because it's kind of got that mid presence that sounds distorted. Anyway, so then what I would do is open something like Serum, or you know what? I've been meaning to talk about Vital for a little while. Feel. Okay. So with stuff that's like less complex waveform, there are like easier ways to do it, and I feel like the lower the frequency is, the easier it is to see what the waveform is. So for example, like kicks and basses, you can very easily recreate by just looking at the exact frequency and recreating it like exactly. But yes, Vital. So for those who are like closely following Vital, you may or may not have noticed that it seems like Matt is back on the project, because we've seen a couple of updates in the past month or so. Nothing major. I feel like there's just some slight interface stuff that's been done. Interface looks like a lot more snappy. The effects seem like the lines are brighter and more solid and stuff. So I think it's just like the UI stuff that's been worked on, a couple of bug fixes. But it's also pretty exciting because it means we probably see like some kind of major updates soon, because he's working on a lot of the little things first, I guess. So yeah, I'm excited to see what we will get next. Will we go straight to Vital 2? Anyway, so we know that this is E because the sample told us that, but often you can also tell by just listening and then playing a sound with it. It's actually not E. It's actually not. It's crazy how often this happens with with samples that are like listed as a particular key, but it's actually not. That sounds to me like it's D sharp. That sounds right. Like those frequencies sound like they're the same, right? This frequency sounds wrong, right? And that's apparently E. I don't know. Anyway. That's D sharp. Anyway, so I would then try transpose it to the key that either the sample says it is or it apparently is. So here it's D sharp, so we'll go +3, and then we can make the sound at this frequency and then just transpose it to the track that we're working on, right? Yeah, I'm pretty certain that's what happened. Played E and then detuned it, or just was like making sounds and then somebody else like named them and they just put a tuner on and then say, oh, okay, it's a E because maybe it was like E minus 50 cent or something like that. Okay, so like I said, that sounded like it was FM. So what I would usually do is load up basic shapes. And then set up FM, pitch it down. And then we can maybe do it again here and then modulate this one. We don't actually want to hear these two layers. We just want to hear this first layer. And then let's go basics again. Or harmonic series, also pretty good, because that's like all sine waves and they're in the harmonic series, so it kind of always works with FM. FM from 3. I think then it's like a bit of distortion. It does sound different because we did shift the tempo, so there's like a bit of granular stuff happening, so it does sound a bit grittier. And then also this has like random phase, so every time it does sound slightly different. Whereas the other one is a sample, so it's the same every time. So we can also see in the spectrum that this sound has a like full frequency, got low frequencies, got high frequencies, where the other one was mainly in the mids. So what we can do is we can use some kind of EQ or filter to just shape it so that it's closer in frequency to the source sound. Sai Stelios, how are you doing? I follow you and I am Moon Vibes Records as well. I buy your presets and Serum 2, amazing, and the clips helps a lot. Thanks. Thank you. I'm so glad to read that. So I think at this point, it's gonna sound decent. I'm kind of happy with that sound. Sounds good. Similar, not exactly the same, obviously. But then here we would tune to the track. So let's say +7, and then it'll be the root note of the track. And then I would just use that placement as like a reference. So it's here just before the first kick of bar 2. I think more reverb as well could be closer to the sound. Yeah, that sounds good. And let's put it over kick and bass. I guess I often first try to do it in the plugin. So like there, I was trying to do the reverb in the plugin, but it kind of wasn't giving me the sound or control that I wanted. And I wanted to start adding a bit more distortion. Vital's limited to the 1, so I decided to not do the reverb inside Vital because reverb before distortion is often quite a mess. So I decided to turn off the reverb in Vital, add some distortion, more filtering, and then the reverb at the end. So that's kind of usually the thought process, is like I try to do it in the synth, and then sometimes it just doesn't give me as much control as I need for a particular thing, so turn to post-processing. I feel like the range on this parameter, there's something wonky with the range. It's not giving me the full range. It's kind of just from here onwards, it feels like something's up. I think maybe it's in unipolar when it's supposed to be in bipolar, or vice versa. I believe that is reminding me I should download the latest update. Oh, that echo out there is so nice. That like high passed lead that echoes out. Maybe we can time this like on the drop. I think that could sound nice. I feel like the rolling bass with just that at the end is good. I feel like this is maybe a bit much.
experiences on this planet.
I think here we also maybe need like another filter kick and bass section to lead into that, because there's a drastic change in the low end.
The psychedelic experience is extremely on this planet. Experience is an extremely part of the smorgasbord of experiences on this planet.
Cool, Zen Lion. I think I'm also going to start packing it up. Hey, Common Ground, how's it going? Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, it came together there nicely in the end there. Especially with that sample, it kind of just cherry on the top, you know? We need to do some kind of like lead out. Maybe we can use a similar thing that we did into this break here. There was this main ARP kind of went into breakdown, so maybe we can do that here.
Experiences on this planet.
Pretty sweet. Sounds good to me. And I actually like that whole like ARP at the end there, because it makes it quite DJ friendly. So, like, for example, if you're mixing this with another track, from a DJ perspective, you could kind of keep just that loop of that ARP going and kind of like fade it out eventually over time while like the bass line from another track comes in. So sometimes it's a good idea to kind of leave, obviously not just like a raw couple of bars of nothing at the end, but some kind of lead out that has something, some kind of rhythm and melody from the track. Because then it just gives excuse me, it just gives the DJ like more options if they are performing it, right? But I kind of like that. It still works from an arrangement perspective as well, not just like DJ friendly vibe. Cool. I'm happy with that. I think I'm gonna call it a day there. Got to do a couple of things today still. Got to go make some lunch. Yeah. Don't forget next week. Next week Wednesday. Seminar on Patreon. Monthly seminar on Patreon. Yep. I will loop this once or twice for everyone who wants to stick around and listen to the full thing that we made. We didn't make the whole thing today, but yeah, what we finished up today, where we are so far with the track. I'll loop it once or twice. Thanks everyone for tuning in. That was awesome. I really enjoyed that. I hope you learned something. Hope you were inspired. Yeah. I will see you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.
Psychedelic experience is an extremely old part psychedelic experience is an extremely old part of the smorgasbord of human experiences on this planet. In fact, the emergence of human consciousness and the emergence of an awareness of these biodynamic outputs Fidelity experience, 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 fidelity experience. On this planet.